Your story is worth celebrating. Hey guys, what's up? This is Paul Newton, aka Major Pain, your life purpose coach. Your story is the most empowering piece of your life. You cannot separate yourself from your story. Many people are stuck in the past because they refuse to heal from the past or they refuse to learn lessons from the past that can be used for their present. It's as a result of the past we are in the present. And it's from the present we can rewrite our story for the future. Every day is a chance to rewrite your story. And that's such a big deal. Because if you don't rewrite your story, then you likely not to uphold that future you want to. Remember, what brought us here is different from what will take us there. Every day we need to re-strategize, we need to reassess ourselves, evaluate, and come up with new ideas, new thinking, new belief system, new approaches that would work. Reflecting into your past is such an empowering tool. And that's why I say your story is worth celebrating. I remember when I lost my dad at the age of 7. It was devastating. It was so chaotic and so unsettling. I was missing. I was trying to find myself. I knew what was going on for sure. I knew I wasn't going to see him anymore. And I was just somewhat, I didn't have any father figure in my life. I didn't have any man I could look up to teach me how to be a man. So I had to learn how to be a man my own self. And looking at that moment, I find it to be one of the most empowering part of my life, because while going through that storm, it's the values that I got to establish myself on that's keeping me strong and firm today. My mom, she was such a strong Christian and she was so uh, dogged in her faith and everything, and she rubbed that off on us, right? And it made me realize that, wow, this is something I need to get to where I want to go to. I told myself, I said, I want to be the best man in the world. And I remember every day that stuff keep playing in my head. Every time I come across peer pressure, every time I come across terrible occurrences or issues at that time, that word kept replaying in my mind and telling me that I don't have to do certain things, because if I am to go towards that path, it would alter the path I want to go to. Have you been in situations whereby you ask yourself, God, why me? Why me? And you just questioning yourself, why isn't it someone else that has to go through that? And I'm going to ask you, why not you? Why should it be someone else who should go through that experience when you are going to miss out from that experience, regardless of how good or bad the experiences might be? Remember, we can't choose to an extent what happens to us. There are a whole lot of things that are out of our control, but what is within our control is how we react and what we get out of those experiences. For me, though, I saw the loss of my father as a way of God teaching me how to be resilient and coming through the ruffles and tumbles of life. I get to remind myself that if I could go through those moments, I can go through anything in life. What stands out about this particular part of my story is that this is something that will make people not only question themselves, but turn to the other side and, do terrible things to themselves, or start doing or getting involved. And as a matter of fact, many people actually thought like, oh, now that Paul's dad is late and everything, that me and my siblings were going to be like wayward or irresponsible, living terrible lives and all those kind of things. That's what the society was expecting, because that's some sort of the norm. But I know that they were watching, and I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I know I will prove you wrong. And that made me put so much pressure on myself in terms of working on myself And I'm glad it all happened that way, because if it didn't happen that way, I wouldn't be making this video by now. Who knows? I wouldn't have been positioned in such a tight spot that has forced me to do all the hard work and great things I've done and accomplished today. When you're reflecting into your life and reflecting into your story, just look at how everything you've been through has shaped you into who you are today. Both the good and the bad, yes. What is good if not for bad? Right? Ask yourself. Ask yourself key questions. This is what I want you to do. When you reflect into your story, ask yourself, what are the highs and what are the lows? What are the turning points? Ask yourself if you see any pattern between the highs, the lows, and the turning point. What are those things that really stands out? What did you really learn from those experiences? Write them down and just use that to reflect. Remember, you can separate yourself from your story, but what makes your story golden is what you choose to frame from your story. We are all storytellers. And I mean, I just told you about me losing my dad and how I was able to reframe it and draw a whole lot of empowering piece out of it. Now it's your turn. Look at your story and ask yourself, how can I reframe it and grab an empowering piece of it? And also, how can I rewrite my story from today? What are the things I can start doing from now that's going to make my life in the next 6 months from now? What can I start doing now that will make my life a lot more different from who I used to be or who I am now? And it's possible. Last year by this time, I was in a I was in a chaotic situation because I had just broken up with my ex, and it was terrible. I felt empty, I felt lonely, but again, I was able to reframe that part of that experience, and I I realized that that experience made me know myself a lot more. I got to realize my strength, I got to know my weaknesses, I got to know what I want in the next person I want to date. And it made me also know what I don't want in the next person I want to date. And all those things really helped shape how I carried myself and also helped create a new reality for me. And same way for you too. We can separate ourselves from our story. It is our story. We need to own it. We need to embrace it. We need to feel it. We need to crest it. We need to do everything emotionally responsible we can do. That way, we feel empowered and we have more reasons why we need to cause a difference and why we need to create a shift in how we live our life. So own your story, celebrate it, feel happy for who you are, and feel challenged also for who you are. If you see that you reflect into your life and it's not going the way you want to, then you have a chance to change. It's all on you. Remember, I keep saying there's no one who is more passionate about your success than you are or you should. Well, except for me, though, who is here to bring out the best in you and also to celebrate you as you champion yourself into that glorious future you want for yourself. Before I leave today, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to read a part of the Bible which I find connected to this talk today. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. And it says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble, with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." So one part that really struck me when I read this for the first time was that he said that we may be able to comfort those who are in trouble, meaning that we don't go through our own experiences for ourselves alone. We go through it because of other people that had to come across us. I mean, we are not an we don't live an isolated life, right? Yes, you going through your own story by yourself, but you not going through it just for yourself. You're going through it for your generation, for your community, and for the world in general. I mean, look at the big people in the world today. They all have a story. They all have a terrible past. They all have something that really made them question, why am I alive? But yet they were able to own it, and they were able to use that story to transform not just themselves but the world. And me talking to you about my own story, I'm sure it's connecting with someone out there, and the person's like, huh, man, I never knew that this guy went through that, and oh my god, there's something similar to what I'm going through. Therefore, okay, now I see. And you know, nothing as exciting as when someone is speaking and you realize that you guys connect in terms of similar experience, similar this and that. That's what your story is meant for. And that's why, as a life coach, for me, at one point it was more like, why should I be saying things everyone already knows? No, not everyone has heard it from my perspective. Not everyone has heard my story. So therefore, not everyone too is connecting with some of these big players. Therefore, if I don't speak out, you might not be able to connect with me. And who knows, I am the one you are to connect with. And that's why you also have to work on yourself and talk about your story. Because that way, other people can connect with you and get to realize they are not the only one going through similar experiences and situations. Well, I hope that connect with you. I hope that bless you today. And I also hope that you begin to see the need to rewrite your story, own your story, and dream big. I'll see you some other time. Well, the good thing is this particular video also has an article right on my blog at www.majorpainintl.ca. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video. I love you and I wish you the best. Stay safe, stay awesome, stay blessed. Own your story.